Where Kerry talks, it's Kerry Today with Jerry O'Sullivan.
Now, when Tralee man John Buggy performed the song he wrote at a function in County Offaly this week, all those present were brought to a complete silence by his performance. John was attending the event organised by Anam Cara, a support group for bereaved parents and siblings, and he joins me now. John, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jerry.
Now, can I first ask you, Anam Cara, what sort of an organisation is it, and how does it work? A support group for bereaved parents and siblings.
Yeah, it's actually, it's probably in its infancy. It was only set up a few years ago, and it's really all that's out there for bereaved parents and siblings. You can enter into it as a kind of on an online presence. First of all, you can go onto an online forum, and you can be as anonymous as you wish to be. You don't have to reveal any name or anything like that. They do, of course, vet you when you first enter into it.
And it's part of, I suppose, maybe starting the process of trying to talk to other people about what has happened, or people who've gone through similar things.
Well, it's really, if you lose a child, and it doesn't matter if it's a baby or a grown man or a woman, nobody really understands. Nobody except somebody who has been in your shoes. And that might sound like a kind of a broad generalization, but if you ask anybody, they'll tell you that it's true. Nobody really understands unless they've lost a child too.
Your situation, your family personally touched by tragedy. You lost your son Adam.
Yeah, we lost Adam about 19 months ago. He was killed in an accident in County Cork, in a road accident, and basically devastated the family, as you can imagine. So.
Yeah. And how did you hear about the organisation, and how difficult was it, John, to take that first step, maybe even if it was just that initial connection online with the forum?
Well, the way I heard about it was a friend of mine actually read something in the paper, and very thoughtfully, and I'm going to say her name now, it was actually Sheila Bullman. She cut the article out of the paper, and she folded it up and she put it into my pocket, and she never told me about it. And one day I put my hand in my pocket and I took out the piece of paper, and when I read it, I was immediately interested, but she didn't want to kind of force it on me or anything like that. So she left it there for me to find. She knew I'd find it, so she left it there for me to find. And it was in the very early days after we lost Adam, and you're extremely lost at that time. When you've just lost a child, it's the loneliest place in the world. Even if you are fortunate to have, your partner with you, or other siblings or other children, it is the loneliest place you will ever find yourself, and you are absolutely heartbroken, and you would look for anything or anybody that could help to ease the suffering you're going through. And let's face it, when you're in a position like that, there's lots of negative things that you can do in order to try and alleviate the pain you're going through. This is hopefully a sort of a positive thing, because you don't feel so alone. When you reach out, you realise that there are, in fact, hundreds of people out there that are going through exactly the same thing you're going through.
It's something that you never ever think you're going to have to face. So the immediate question is, where do you turn to after something like that does happen?
Well, people. Some people turn to, some people have great faith. They look to the church, and they find solace in that. Other people don't have that, and you can have the support of family and friends is absolutely amazing. And we've been fortunate enough in our particular circumstances to have a kind of a close group of friends that have been absolutely amazingly supportive to us, and still continue to be. But I'd have to say that, much as they try to understand, they don't understand, because they haven't been there, and I wouldn't want them to be there. And Anam Cara describes itself as a very exclusive club that nobody wants to be a member of.
Yeah, that puts it, I suppose, in fairly stark, but at the same time, John, fairly realistic terms, I suppose, that this is a group that has a very special link and a very special bond, like you said, but nobody wants to be part of it. When you are, you can kind of help each other.
Absolutely. If you're going through a particularly bad time, you can just go online. And as I said, you can be as anonymous as you wish to be, especially in the early days. You don't have to use your real name. You'll have an online name. And I've yet to ever put up anything on the forum that wasn't responded to. And when you lose a child, you will find yourself going through, like, any bereavement is rough. You lose anybody you love, whether it be a parent or a grandparent, or you lose somebody, but that's tough. But that's part of life. We're all geared to accept that's how it's going to, how it's going to be. We're not, built to accept losing our children. It's not, I described it to a friend of mine once. He said to me, I try to imagine, he says, the pain you're going through, and he said, and I can't. And he said, and I said, no, because your brain won't let you do that. Your brain won't allow you to do that because it'll drive you insane. And I said, I think that people who have lost their children, we're at the bottom of a I don't know, a crevice or something. We're at the bottom, and people are even afraid to peep over the edge. You can't even peep, and we're down in the bottom of it.
Because it's such an awful thing to have to go through. Yeah. John, stay with us. We're going to talk a little bit more about the event you were at this week, and we might hear the song that you played as well at that event. But if you'll stay with us for a couple of minutes, we'll have more with John after these.
Ring Kerry today at 066 7123 666.
Yeah, we're talking with John Buggy, who performed a song he wrote at a function in County Offaly this week. It's the Anam Cara function that was on. And John, look, thanks very much for talking to us again about this. The event was part of the National Awareness Campaign and Balloon to Remember event for Anam Cara, trying to obviously raise awareness and raise some funding.
As I said, the Anam Cara for me, and I'd say probably for a lot of people, began as an online presence, but they're now moving out as a physical presence across the country because, sadly, it's people lose their children every day, and so the organisation is growing, and they're setting up support groups throughout Ireland. So they are trying to raise their awareness. Miriam O'Callaghan is one of their sponsors and spokespersons, as is Mary Cowan, who was the former Taoiseach's wife. And both of them were present at the event and spoke. And the idea of the balloon event is that you release a balloon for your child. They release pink and blue balloons all together. Well, they actually do it in two lots. One is for the parents who have lost their children, and one is for the siblings who have lost brothers and sisters. And it's a very touching event. It's a very moving tribute to your child, and it also gives people an opportunity to go online and sponsor a balloon to be released on the day for a particular child, maybe a friend's child, maybe a niece or a nephew, or and to leave a message in an online book of remembrance. But this is, as I said, to promote the physical presence of Anam Cara, that it's not just an online presence, that it is coming to an area near you.
Yeah, does it fill a gap, John, when there's something that's often said sometimes about Irish society, that we're great at doing funerals. Everyone shows up, and there's plenty of people around at that time, but very often, very soon afterwards, we leave people who are bereaved, and as you said, as any person who's bereaved loses a parent or a grandparent or anybody, and we let it all go behind closed doors, and a few days afterwards it's almost never talked about again.
That's a hard thing. The last thing you want somebody to do is ignore the fact that your child is gone, because although Adam is no longer here physically with us, he's with us every day. He's in my heart every day. He's the first thing I think about when I wake up, and I know I'm speaking for my wife when I say that too. So Adam is very much, he's obviously not physically alive, but he's very much spiritually and emotionally alive in us, and he always will be. And for somebody to just try and ignore the fact of that, and I understand people. People, they don't know what to say.
Yeah.
They don't know. And in fairness, I met so many people that that just walked up to me and said, "I don't know what to say to you," and they just put their arms around me.
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing, and I suppose it's difficult for everybody to deal with in it. But that's where a group like this comes in, John, and where they can come into their own and provide that connection there for people. Listen, do you feel up to doing the song for us?
Yeah, yeah. It's a hard one. I've described this as the easiest and the hardest song I've ever written.
Yeah.
So because the sentiment behind it came so readily to me, and yet the actual process of writing it was incredibly hard.
I can only imagine. Well, listen, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Thank you. It's called Memory of You, and it's also called Song for Adam, but it's a song that anybody that's really lost anybody close to them can relate to, I hope.
I don't know what to say. I don't know how to feel. I thought it was all a dream, but I finally found out it's real. I couldn't believe my eyes. Looking around my world and discovering you're not here, but I will still love you no matter where you are, and you will always live forever in my heart, for I cannot let you go in spite of all the pain. Memory of you will still remain, although I'll never see your face again. Living from day to day, tearing up all my plans. I've been trying to find some way that I can understand. I don't know where to turn, 'cause everything here is strange. I've been looking around my world and discovering that it's changed. I miss your laughter running through these rooms. I miss your footsteps on the stairs. This house is full of little parts of you. I know I'll never find you there, and I will still love you no matter where you are, and you will always live forever in my heart, for I cannot let you go in spite of all the pain. Memory, you will still remain, and I will still love you no matter where you are, and you will always live forever in my heart, for I cannot let you go in spite of all the pain. Memory of you will still remain, although I never see your face again. Although I never see your face again.
Listen, John, that's an absolutely amazing song, and thanks very much for taking the time to come into us and talk to us about what's a very difficult thing, and an amazing song, an amazing performance as well. So thanks very much for that, John.
Thank you very much, Jerry. And I just want to plug once more, if anybody is out there and they're feeling lost, just Google Anam Cara, ANMAMCARA, and Google it, and the rest will fall into place for you.
Yeah, definitely will, John. Thanks very much for that. That's John Buggy there, Tralee man, telling us his story. And that email address again, or that website address is anamcara.ie. You can email info@anamcara.ie, ANAMCARA, as John said there. Just Google it. Their phone number is 01404 5378. That's the Dublin number, 01404 5378. And they have a mobile as well, which is 085 288 888. That's 085 288 888. That's Anam Cara, the Parental and Sibling Bereavement Support Organisation.